Yeah, exactly. I think at the moment the industry is facing what is called the cookie apocalypse, right? So Google have decided to depreciate cookies in their Chrome browser in much the same way that Apple had done with Safari a long time ago. The issue with that is the kind of the programmatic ecosystem has largely been underpinned by the cookie since its inception, right? It allows for behavioral based targeting, it allows for impression tracking, it allows for click tracking, and just generally provides information on the performance. And it's been used, I think, or not recklessly by the industry, but I don't think the cookie has been communicated particularly well to the people that use the internet, right? What does it do exactly? I mean, the fact that it's called a cookie kind of makes it sound nice anyway, right? Like everyone likes a cookie. So I think that people are slowly becoming aware to their data being bought and sold. And when we were talking about this yesterday, Chandru, like we were all very excited about the potential of these impression objects to potentially replace a cookie. There's a lot of information that can be cryptographically secured and transported through the hypergraph to buyers and sellers. It then, because of that transparency, kind of brings forward the future where you and I as internet users can be brought into this value exchange. And yeah, I think one of the things that, although it just looks like a couple of lines of code on a screen in this panel, it's the implications of what's possible with this, being able to onboard it onto the blockchain, kind of mind-blowing. We were all kind of sat back when we saw this yesterday and our heads kind of exploded a little bit, because this solves a huge number of issues. I mean, even in terms of like data protection regulations like the GDPR, this has a chance to make
absolutely
an impact. So yeah, maybe Chan, if you want to kind of give a technical like kind of view about how the object kind of would replace a cookie, if that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, for us, it's so exciting that not only is there now a bidder that is kind of the key to onboarding all advertiser demand, all publisher supply, you have this impression object that can be used as a proxy for a cookie, which, yeah.
Absolutely, Ben.
That amazing.
That's absolutely right. And, from a privacy point of view as well, there's no identification data here. We just work on IDs. We have a bidder ID, we have a publisher ID, or a bid request ID. And it's not possible for us to identify the parties involved just based on the IDs. So there's no mapping between the IDs and the actual parties. So that would, in a way, prevent us from getting into issues with GDPR. That there's no user ID, for example, user information in terms of PII that's being exposed on the blockchain, which is something that we would really like to avoid. So yes, I think that's a plus point as well.
Yeah, it really helps for the sovereignty of data, effectively, doesn't it? Of each individual user, gives them the ability to do things, to cryptographically secure their own data and be in charge of that as well, right?
Absolutely.
And I think just like, surely you're aware of this kind of with your experience at Condé Nast, but when these requests go out, there's a number of objects that go in this response, and you're pinging a number of different servers, which is inefficient, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you have 8 different objects going off in 8 different directions, then there's the ability for ones to get lost, not come back. That's where you have that incomplete data. And yeah, if you have one larger object with all the information on it, anybody connecting to the hypergraph can use that data rather than having it go off into a siloed ad server somewhere.
They can use it and then they can see it.
Yeah.
Right. Like what we're looking at here is a log level bit of data, right? And that is expensive to produce in current centralized systems, difficult to then manage, it's difficult to crunch. And through what's possible on the hypergraph, it's way easier, it's way cheaper to see exactly what's going on. And that's the key, right? Like opaque margins will disappear if you can see what's going on. Impressions lost through discrepancy will disappear. Now you can see what's going on. It's just like, for me and for all the conversations all the team have had with publishers and advertisers, like seeing this kind of made like, oh shit, like everything we've set out to say we've been doing is like, this is the first step this is built, this is kind of leading us to the path where the Alchemy Exchange can start supporting the transparent and efficient selling of buying and selling digital ads on the internet. It's kind of great. We were all vibrating yesterday, and we're all still vibrating now, because this is absolutely incredible. We've been blown away by the work that you and the team have done. And yeah, we're just beside ourselves, really. Like, it's incredible position to be in, you know, like, nicely done, guys, nicely done.